Activism Insights is an effort from members and supporters of the VenusProject.com resource-based economy and is not an official spokesperson, representative, or act in any official capacity and serves only to encourage, support, and motivate other TVP activists.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Activism Insights, the show that's dedicated specifically, solely, and exclusively to those out in the field spreading awareness and the invitation to join our global movement. I've got a wonderful guest today on the show. A lot of us have seen his travels. He goes all over the place. He's a POC from California, and I'd like to introduce him to the show. This is Inlakesh Amor, and just like to welcome you, Inlakesh, to the show. And like always, I'd like you to say who you are and what part of the world you reside in and how you came to learn about the VenusProject.com resource-based economy, Jock and Roxanne. So welcome to the show, brother.
Hi, thanks, Luke. I'm Inlakesh from California, and I'm a POC for the Venus Project support. And yeah, how I got to these ideas was very slow progression. Me, like a lot of other people, I got introduced through the internet, watching a documentary, and that the specific one was from the Zeitgeist Addendum, and then I got really involved with them, and then I kind of went to cut the middleman and went straight to the source. So I went to visit Roxanne and Jacques. You could say 7 years ago, and it was really great. Really seeing the models and seeing how they were as people. I think and also it just grew on me over time. So it was a slow progression to really get excited about these ideas. Because even though it was really great, I really loved them, but it kind of took me a little bit to actually prepare myself to really get out there into the public, and I think I'm more than ready for sure.
So
what was the other question?
Just
was there another
where you learned? So many of us learn from Peter Joseph's work. The Addendum is a great film, and he does great work, and would never shy away from that. And so then now you're in California, the West Coast.
Yeah.
Now if you were to divide California up like northern, central, and southern, what part of the state are you in?
Oh, I'm Southern California.
Southern California, okay.
Yeah.
And which is a big area. That's a big state. and so then we just recently saw on Facebook you had done a post where you were out doing activism out in the streets. There was an event. What was it? A fair? What was that? Tell us a little more about it.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It was just a fair, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, to get out there and do it earlier, but I just thought there's people there right around the corner, and I could give them this information. So I printed out these flyers and pamphlets, leaflets from Deborah, she's a POC from Brazil. So she had really professional looking materials. So I really enjoyed printing them out and just doing the grunt work of cutting them up and folding them. But to me, I think that was just very simple that anybody could do, and I would definitely look forward for more of it too.
So then you two collaborated. Which she had the file, she had created it.
Yes, and actually, it's available to all the POCs at the moment. From what I understand.
And so then you printed it with your printer?
I actually just went to the local Staples and then just had them print it because I like the quality of paper. But I'm sure once I get it printed out, you printed that stuff a lot. But yeah, if you're going to be an activist and stuff like that, it does cost money. You have to have a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you invested your own money, and then you even had to cut them. You had some kind of a little device or a machine.
It's such a pleasure. Jacques Fresco, he did all the real work.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Roxanne Meadows, they're the ones like really that have done the hardest work. And us, we're gonna do
Tireless.
hard work too.
Sure.
But
Yes.
but us, like, it's just different.
And
And I
so,
think we could have a lot of fun doing it.
yeah, and
What was that?
and there were a lot of people. It looked like it was a big event, like it had a big turnout.
Yeah, like before that, I did for March for Science. So I went down to Santa Barbara, and I gave like the same amount, like 150, like of the materials, and it's
Fantastic.
supporting the Venus Project, and it's so people could check out the VenusProject.com and see these ideas, like that there isn't enough money in the world that could to solve any of these problems that we have of war, poverty, or unnecessary human suffering. But we do have more than enough resources, and that's what's huge. That I understand that we're just in the education process. We have all the resources right here, right now, to build anything we want. It's just, what do we want? Do we want a world that has like unlimited lifestyle options, or continue more of the same of scarcity, which is something that really stands out to me. That all our universities today are more equipped than any time before in
Mm,
history. But
yeah,
then again, wars get worse.
sure.
But yeah.
Well, and so then as you were, and the deal is that a lot of times at fairs, they don't want people walking around handing out stuff. They want you to pay for a
Oh,
booth, so
right.
sometimes, you kind of,
I was,
and so, but I imagine that as you had handed some of these things out that invoked a certain amount of response, people had questions. Did a lot of people have questions? And what was that like?
that's a good question, by the way. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, like in the fair, because people like for the most part, I enjoyed the people that asked the question. So what is this? And then I enjoyed it too. How they said, okay, and they were into it too. So me, I liked it. But for the most part, a lot of people just kind of accepted it,
Hmm.
or didn't. And to me, I also enjoy the people that didn't accept it either, because it kind of shows you, like, that you don't want to waste your time, because there's a lot of from what I understand, there's a lot of ways that we could just waste our time. But if you could just cut through the people that are actually willing to listen and willing to investigate the ideas, I think we're doing good. And so with the people, you could say, yeah, some of them were like, I would say a very, very small percent were actually like kind of interested in like hearing more. And I gave them like, like a brief thing,
Good.
like we have the resources today, like no any other time in history, to get rid of a lot of repetitive, boring, dangerous jobs. All
Mm.
that could be done by machines, and all the fun stuff could be left for us. And
Totally.
there's a lot of work to be done. And just
Yeah.
after people are housed and fed, then the work starts. But I didn't get that deep into it. I just really trying to make it really simple. I want to make it really simple for them. So just
Yeah.
talking about the resource, like, we have enough resources, and there's just an education thing that needs to happen. Um, but let's see, like something else that kind of made it easy to understand was just that it's not so much like kind of fighting anything. No, it's just more. It's like we're just making our own system, and it's just a value shift. So we just need to
Sure.
value, like it just need to value, like the resources, each other, and our future, and try to make it simple. Again, I think that's the hugest thing. Make just like, their own curiosity. I think the tools are there, and they can investigate it themselves, because I feel like I'm not selling anything. I feel like it's just available if they're interested,
Hmm.
and just offering something that they wouldn't have got otherwise.
And
And
how important it is to have take-home material. And I imagined, with the design layout, often the brochure will answer a lot of our questions, may spurn more interest so that they have an address to go to. Just how important it is for people to have take-home stuff. Somebody says, hey, he goes to the bar at the end of the day and, oh yeah, I was talking to this guy, and he was talking about a world without money. And his friends are like, a world without money, you know. So, but when people have so I mean, around the base of level of what they're talking about, depending on what kind of level they're in. But having that take-home material is so important, even if it's just a business card, even if it's just a sheet of paper that's printed on your copier that gives an address, that there's a movement happening. And, you saw a certain percentage of people that showed an interest. Something clicked and it made sense to
Huge.
them in the way that you delivered it. When you're talking to people and who have no idea and often haven't been exposed to anything along these lines or direction, there's how is it? What are some of the suggestions or ways of approach that you use? Is there a common kind of a theme, or does it depend on the person?
I think it's exactly that. Like you kind of do a survey of like their like who they are and what their interests are.
Mm-hmm.
So if their interests are like maybe like about maybe along the lines of science or some kind of investigating or if they're reading like books that are actually kind of almost like similar or like kind of getting there.
Yeah.
Then to me, I think then you can move forward with more ideas. But if like, let's say if it's something like, oh, I love like, like violent video games or something like that. Or,
Sure.
I really like just enjoy shopping. That's just how I get my kick.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, not everybody, but like for the most part, at least for me, I feel I want to get to people that actually would investigate these ideas and kind of move forward, so we could start like because right now I don't have a team like here locally. Even though we have 4 POCs in California, we're pretty separated and we're not really seeing each other. But even though we do like have like meetings once in a while, but I think I do want to push those more. But I see that it's really important to kind of lay out, because Jacques said this, and to me it makes sense to first kind of do a survey of their personality and see if they're into just fighting and killing, then you're probably not going to go far very quick. And it's probably like try to avoid those 20-year projects too, where their values are just too far off. But also too, because I'm still learning kind of how to figure that out too. But usually with those flyers, I really don't make any assumptions. I just go to anybody. I just go to anybody that's willing to take it. I'll just give it to them. But if you're talking about maybe like sharing further these ideas, maybe to me I would first, like, which I'm gonna do pretty soon, and maybe I'll tell you like in the future. I'm gonna go to my local library and I'm gonna try to show the documentary, because I think having the documentary do the work was way better than just talking about it. Because sometimes when we talk about it, they kind of, like what you said, they kind of make their own assumptions of what things are. Like, oh, world without money. Oh, you want to have a whole bunch of people in a hippie town or something like that. No. These are big ideas using the latest science and technology, which has never been done before.
I'd like to talk a little bit about travel, because you've done a lot of travel.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's kind of far out. We'll show some video of it or some clips. But you and I did a trek from California, right? To go to Jacques' centennial event. Did you come from California?
Yeah.
Okay, on the bus, right?
Like you.
Yeah. Only mine was a nightmare. You had a pretty smooth. I don't know any of it. On what measure are you going to say was smooth?
Hey, everybody. Hello. Hey, we just got here. We're in Fort Myers, Florida. We finally We finally got here. Good trip. Here's a look. Check it out. There's a sign. This is the bus station.
It was cool because we ended up meeting up. You were ahead of me, and then you had a layover, and then I caught up. And I don't know what state it was. We met up. I think it was before Florida. The state before Florida. Wasn't it something like that? So you and I kind of, you remember?
Sorry, I should remember, but I don't.
No, I don't. Look how many places since then. And so we met up just outside of Florida on a bus, and we came in on a bus, and it was very weird because there was a young lady sitting behind us on the bus, and him and I are all talking Venus Project and, you know, different stuff. And this girl appeared over the thing. She says, "Are you guys going to Jock Fresco's thing?" And we're like, "Yeah." "Are you?" She goes, "Yes." Remember, it was so weird. And so we
Yeah, it
traveled.
was awesome. I thought it was great.
Yes, that was very
Yeah.
interesting. And
It was also great meeting you too. I was just like, when I first saw you, I was like, "No way, it's Luke Wonderly! What's up, dude?"
yeah, no, it was very cool. And then I think we did some sound sync to some of the songs that are coming up. You did some lip syncing to it, which I've had a lot of members do. So Inlakesh and I finally arrived to Fort Myers, Florida, and we went. And it was the day before. It was the day before the event, and so we went in and we checked out the building, and then we walked all the way in they had a preliminary, you know, get together the night before, so it was very cool, and they welcomed us, and Sasha was there, and Jennifer was there, and Sue was there. It was cool as heck.
Oh, it was so awesome.
But you met a lot of other people. You met Ryan Reeves, who we met on the bus once, remember? They had a free bus. It was far out we got on.
Ryan Reeves, yeah, he's a friend here in California, so he's very local.
California.
Yeah, and so yeah, we've actually done an activism together with the Zeitgeist movement back in the days, and he was always interested in these kind of ideas, and we got connected in LA, and then we're friends ever since. And it definitely. What was that?
In fact, didn't you guys both meet Peter Joseph? There's a photograph. We'll try to show that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And that was way back when.
It was definitely very fun. And to me, like back in the day, we had like a activist group and stuff. We like had regular meetings, and we planned out things, and we did some screenings, and we did like street activism, which was really fun. And I look forward to doing that for the Venus Project. And
which you're already doing.
Yeah, which I'm already doing, but like doing more, like, you know, actually having a team and stuff like that. So I think it's really important to have a team, because you could do this all by yourself and it's great, but I think once you have a team, you move a lot faster and it's a lot easier.
Yeah, power in numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so then that part of the idea with the POC is that as you grow and you develop your own team and develop core members who in turn have their own team and their core members, so it begins to saturate each city and each town throughout America as well as the rest of the world. And so
it sounds easy to say. Yeah, easy to say.
Look,
but I know we're getting there. We're going to get there.
You're doing great, brother. You're just, you know, wonderful inspiration, and I deeply appreciate what you're doing. Every single person that is introduced to this direction, every single person that's invited to the movement, although, you know, out of the percentage of people that we talk to, we see a smaller percentage that are really interested. You just never know. And every time that we're able to reach someone or present information, take home, we have planted a seed. And, you know, anyone would want to have a world like that. They just don't have enough information yet. Now, you're in Southern California. Now, this is interesting. I did a peace walk through California, and on my way, one of the towns I walked through was Fresno. And I met, I don't know if you know them or not. Are you in Fresno or outside of Fresno?
I was in Fresno for like 1 year, and I moved back to my hometown, which is Ventura County.
Okay, and you were in Santa Barbara for a while too, right?
Yeah, I was there for like a couple of years, yeah.
Right on, right. And did you know Leah and Joshua? And remember Tara? Weren't you on their property, Tara's?
Yeah.
And so she had a wonderful organic Fresno, which is a vegan restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, this was way back, you know, 14, 15. And so very interesting that we would know and have this circle of the same friends. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
And they're great people. And so you've really done a lot of travel and a lot of saturation through California. You moved around, and I know that everywhere we go, we have the opportunity to talk to people. And so now, the one other thing I wanted to touch is that you had gone to the Venus Project initially, way back, and that was your first introduction after the movie had motivated you to go to the research center. What was your first, tell us, for those that haven't been there yet and want to, a little bit about what your experiences were on the research center grounds and taking the tour and meeting Roxanne and Jacques. What was that like the first time you were there?
Well, me, I feel like I had like I kind of got the ideas already. Like I watched the documentaries, and I watched I seen a lot of like his models through the computer, but actually seeing it in physical life, you kind of see it. It's like a whole bunch of like kids should have those like toys kind of thing. Like these like they look like really really like high quality. Like at least they look like toys to me, but they're actually like models. And for sure, because I was studying architecture at the time, and so it was definitely a big treat to see like all the models and to see how like seeing it the I guess the smaller models, but also the houses and stuff that were there, like the domes, and seeing how the structure actually gets stronger in time. And so to me, I'm like, so you don't hear about this in architecture, you just. And so it was definitely very, very great. And when like talking to them, you could see like they're kind of going towards long lasting like things that, and like caring, understanding, like things that actually would propel us into a world where like a resource based economy where we actually enhance each other and protect the environment. So just by the way that they were and what they showed and how they welcomed questions and how they responded to like even like my question was like, all right, should I keep going and studying architecture and stuff like that, or what do you suggest? Because I really wanted to push the Venus Project forward. And to me, like they never said, well, study this and keep doing that. They kind of like let me kind of guide myself, but basing my learning in science, something like physical, which is really important. Like and seeing like the research center and like going through the different rooms and seeing seeing the how they laid it out, and like I kind of like tested the strength of it, and it was pretty strong. But like hang like kind of climbing one of their shelves, but because it's like metal, so and it's like covered with a foam cement, so it's pretty interesting. But
and you walked around with Jacques?
I tried to ask him as many questions as I could, but it's like but it's to me, I don't disagree with this stuff, and if I do see I have a long way to go in learning more about like the values, and to me I think it's a lifetime of learning. I think that everybody would have, but me, I know that I have a long way to go.
Don't we all? This guy is 80 years ahead of us, and they're so wonderful to learn so many of these things that are relevant, things that we can really identify with in our, at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, what is like for us in our existence on this planet, with, what we have to endure and is waged upon us. Well, I just appreciate your activism. You're an inspiration. I just love the way you printed that stuff out at your own money and then cut it all right and folded it and had everything ready to go. And so there is some logistics involved in getting prepared, how many you're going to have, who and what you're going to say, and making every attempt to try to, be a good ambassador for humanity and the venusproject.com resource-based economy. So just appreciate what you're doing, brother, and we look forward to seeing the other things you're doing as you develop your group and your core people there in California. And it's difficult. We have a lot of demands, but I just wanted to reiterate how much we appreciate what you're doing, Inlakesh.
Oh yeah.
Now, were you born with that name?
No, that's the name I gave myself. It's a name I gave myself. But before I continue with that, I just want to say it's my pleasure. It's definitely really easy to try to help out, the Venus Project support. I think it's definitely very fun. But to go with my name, yeah, it means Inlakesh means I am another you, and that's how I see everybody. That we're all human beings, just experiencing their own experience, and that's the environment is what dictates our behavior. So
Yeah.
that we have only so much control of kind of where we put ourselves in. And to me, I that's how I see everybody in that work in the farm. Um, like I told the guys, I'm another you, like in Spanish, yo soy otro tú, and he said something smart too, which was really great. He said, "Well, I'm another you, and there's no one else like you." And in Spanish, is no hay otro como tú, and they always call me otro tú, like another you. And so to me, that's how I kind of like to push, that we are, human beings and just with our own experience.
Yeah.
So
Totally
we're all
love
like
it.
the same. We're all the same but different.
Yeah. There's an underlining theme that binds us all, in our existence, our desires, things that we wished for contentment and for each other. There was, on a walk, I would often, and was see lots of Hispanic, and I always said the same thing: "Viva la raza," which means "long live the race," and they
Right.
would, "Viva!" It was great, man. So, well, brother,
That's funny.
I appreciate the time that you spent with us. We're gonna go ahead and put a link to your page. Is there any other information or links that you'd like to have up there?
Yeah, just the venusproject.com. That's
Right on.
definitely the one.
Will do, brother. Will do. Sure.
All
Thank you for
right.
taking the time out of your life there in California, and appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. It's definitely great to work for the Venus
Yes,
Project support.
all of us. Well, concludes another edition of the Activism Insights. We thank everybody for being here. And Inlakesh and I used to always, when we would close a video, we would close it saying this together.
Let's do it together.
Okay, brother. All right. We'll see you out there
We'll see you out there on the road.
All right. Bye, everybody.
And we'll get back to you a little bit later out there on the road. All right.
For more information on the venusproject.com resource-based economy, log on to the venusproject.com website or check out the venusproject.com YouTube channels and Facebook pages.